I see.
Do we know for sure, I know that's the allegation, but have the charges actually been laid that it will be crimes against humanity?
As far as I know, yes. I haven't, it's all happened very quickly. I haven't gone back to research. But yes, it's going to be crimes against humanity. Can't really, I think, necessarily be anything else, because it certainly can't be war crimes or genocide. But crimes against humanity, it can be. And the numbers dead, I know the numbers are challenged, but they're in the many thousands alleged. And some organizations, I think Human Rights Watch or Amnesty, think the numbers are greater than those generally discussed. The numbers alleged would certainly, if crimes are committed with the sufficient purpose, they would certainly qualify as crimes against humanity. What is going to happen in the court? It's never been, I think, discussed before that, yes, these things happened, but they were done for an apparently good intention.
Can I ask you about a technicality? Because we saw Rodrigo Duterte for many years mock the court, and he said that it was a threat to the country's sovereignty at one point, and then the Philippines was actually withdrawn from the founding treaty of the court back in 2019. Does that matter, or is the jurisdiction still there?
Well, first of all, it was said that he organized the withdrawal because of his concern about being investigated. No, as far as I'm concerned, jurisdiction existed up and until that date, and I think you'll find the prosecution will say they've got enough evidence, both for his time as mayor and thereafter, to have him properly tried in The Hague.
So what happens when he arrives, if indeed he gets on board this plane that we can see right now, about a 12-hour flight perhaps to Europe and to The Hague? What happens next?
Well, he'll be taken into custody, and there'll be all sorts of safety procedures applied then, and then he'll be taken to the court, and in due course he'll be asked to plead to an indictment.
And this is all happening, and could only have happened with the full cooperation of the Philippines government? Yes.
I mean, one of the problems, your previous contributor, I think, mentioned it, these two families being at war, originally at peace together, then you wouldn't have expected the Marcoses to provide evidence against Duterte. Now that they're at war, we hear that Marcos is prepared to cooperate. The question then may include, or the questions then may include, whether evidence provided by the regime under Marcos will be clean evidence, or whether there's a risk of its being tainted before it ever arrives in The Hague. And the prosecutors in The Hague, I don't know to what extent, if any, they've been in the Philippines recently, but they will no doubt now be allowed in. And if they go in, will they be able to find evidence that they're satisfied is free of any taint because of any enthusiasm by Marcos to deepen the rift between the two families?
And just a final thought, Sir Geoffrey, you mentioned the pressure from President Trump on the court and others, and what is happening with Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin as well. The fact that this is going ahead and will be seen as such a big success for the ICC, does that in some way internationally work towards redeeming the court and its reputation?
I don't think the court needs redeeming, and I don't think its reputation is anything other than pretty satisfactory at the moment. What I think you're asking is whether it will save it from the overwhelming force that Trump might try to apply to the court to stop either of the two people I referred to at the beginning, and I'll come back to this, ever being tried. And the answer is I think it just may do. Obviously, it's going to divert the courts, the prosecutor's office and the court's limited capacities to deal with alleged crimes, because this is quite clearly going to be a big and complicated case. But on the other hand, if the court is shown to be doing that which its mandate says it should be doing, looking at difficult issues of international criminal law and processing them in a proper and one hopes reasonably speedy fashion, then that will be that much harder for countries who might want to fall in line with Trump if he says